And in also Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah, so many fights. It's a fighting book. Yeah. Fights, 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 and in between some philosophical discussions, which is very interesting. I was thinking, because we have just in this connection, it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam when Srila Vyasadeva compiled Mahabharata. Then he, and all the Vedas, including Mahabharata, he was not satisfied. He was not happy. And Narada Muni told him, actually, you didn't describe directly Lord Krishna's pastimes and his supremacy. It's not directly written there. And the Mahabharata, for us, yeah, it is about Krishna, isn't it? But the focus is not, fully, I cannot say probably properly, but it's not that direct as it is in Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Mahabharata, I don't know what is your experience, but when I read Mahabharata, when I came to the Kurukshetra war, and then there was Bhagavad Gita, I was just too greedy to read the war, and now the philosophy for so many pages. It's just in such a place that it's difficult to focus because you want to read the fight. Yeah? So I very quickly, maybe I even skipped that actually, just to read the fight, because I read Bhagavad Gita, from Srila Prabhupada and with all purpose. And so in that connection, the whole book is kind of adventurous, and so many, things are going on, and Pandavas are fighting with different Rakshasas and Gandharvas and people and kings, and it's a very, very dynamic story. And then Bhagavad Gita, and then 18 chapters of philosophy, and then you are full of this passion, the war is there, and the great heroes are assembling, and just becoming to fight, and so so it's probably for many people probably it will be similar, that they will just not catch it so easily. So therefore, Srila Vyasadeva, in his maturity, then after that, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Sanyak Pranahite Malaya Apashat Purusham Purnamayam Chatatapashram. It is explained that then he went into meditation in Bhakti Yoga, and then he saw the Lord and material energy. Everything was very clear. Material energy was behind the Lord as a shadow, and everything was clear. And then he wrote this clear vision, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the complete, mature scripture, which is very directly describing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and us as his servants. So back to this killing here. So yeah, we have so much killing, and still we also see in other scriptures, other religions, a lot of killing, isn't it? When we read the Old Testament, I didn't read it all. Several times I tried to start, but I didn't have the patience to. There were more important things to do, but maybe some of you have read. But there is a lot of killing, and the killing here in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's kind of digestible. We can understand. The Lord is killing demons. These Brahmanas are killing a bad king, which is a demon. But there you have killing of children, and it's difficult to understand how it's God's order to kill a whole village of people with everyone, including children and like that. So although there is some killing in our books, it's nice reading. It's very logical, very nicely presented, and it makes sense. And it's still Krishna doesn't compromise his kindness. Yeah? And we are supposed to be the Brahminical movement. Yeah? Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON to create a class of Brahmanas. But of course, we know that later he saw that not all the devotees are able to keep up the standard of Brahmanas, so he wanted the Varnashrama mission to be established, and all Varnas applied for the reason that not all of us will be able to be Brahmanas, and also for the sake of the bigger society, to show the example that how the society should actually function and work. And although he wanted to establish, and he was establishing the class of Brahmanas, he also mentioned something like Brahmanas in the mood of Kshatriyas, which is also kind of interesting, and it is also sometimes noted by devotees that Srila Prabhupada's style of education and expansion was, and his vocabulary was quite different from the previous acharyas, because he used military terms, yeah, war, soldiers, bombs, commander-in-chief, all these things. Devotional service should be performed with the military discipline and like that. So we as followers of Srila Prabhupada, of course we will be different, but also these, and especially these Brahmanas in the mood of Kshatriyas, are very much needed, because Srila Prabhupada was not a sage who is living in Himalayas and meditating. Also Prahlada Maharaja is telling, I cannot do this. I cannot go to the Himalayas and just meditate. I have to go to the big cities where the people are in Maya and they are making different plans to be happy in this world. I have to preach to them. I cannot just sit and become a yogi. And Srila Prabhupada had a nice opportunity to live in Vrindavan, very peacefully, very nice. I mean, he was very poor, but he could live very peacefully if he wouldn't be so much pushing this book production, book distribution, writing BTG, going to Delhi, selling it, printing it, so much. And if he got money, he just was sparing them saving them for printing his publications and for his preaching. And he was doing so many things. He was very active. Sometimes even some other sages had some doubts. Maybe this business kind of sadhu, who is doing this book business, what is this? They couldn't understand actually that he is much bigger sage than all of them, because they are just interested in themselves, their own spiritual progress. Of course, they were devotees of Krishna in this sense, but they were not ready to do a great sacrifice, as Srila Prabhupada did. So sometimes we also think we need to have a harmonious life. Yeah? We always strive for harmony, for balance, balance in devotional service. It is important, of course, to have a balanced life in long term, but part of the balance is some disbalance. Some extra endeavor, some extra mission. We can't, Prabhu, I need to have balanced schedule, this and that, and then festival is there. So then you can't read every day 1 hour if there is festival, for example, and you have to organize it and cook for devotees and organize everything, and you want to peacefully chant your japa. Maybe you are not able to chant peacefully. You just squeeze your rounds in between all the things which are going on, or the preaching is going on. Then, of course, if you want to do something substantial, you have to go out of the balanced schedule, and we have to be willing to do it for the Lord, because we are not attached to our balanced schedule and harmony, peace, everything peaceful, nice. It's attractive, of course. It's mode of goodness, and generally devotees live in mode of goodness. But still, we have a mission. This mission, by its nature, we can't we can't avoid it. Yeah, we can't. It's just part of life. And also, when we live with devotees in the ashram, and we expect just harmonious lives, it will also not work. So many different characters and so many different services, and somebody gets sick and somebody gets hurt, something this happens, and then we have to make some unexpected things which we didn't plan that day. We plan our day, which is very good to plan our day, our year, our life. So this is very good for our consciousness. For example, New Year. So we plan, okay, this year I will wake up every day like this, and I want to read this many books, and I will do it like this. This is my system of achieving the goals. So I will go every this and these days on book distribution, and this I will here I will read, and this I will do, and that I will do, and in this way I will improve my spiritual life. But we have our plan, but part of the plan is that there will be some unexpected circumstances which we have to go through, and we should be happily accepting them. Sometimes some people have a mentality when they like to have their own comfort, and when somebody has some problem, they are not even willing to, for example, you break your tire on the road and you call to somebody, please come, I have a problem. No, it's too late, I'm not going, And somebody else is like, okay, yes, let's go, and he is very happy, maybe a little more passionate, but this is much better character and dealings. I remember once we were in Vrindavan, accommodated in some private place, and one of our devotees got extremely sick. I mean, he was vomiting and just completely lying on the floor. And we asked the people, please help us, we are here strangers and it's midnight and we need to go to some hospital, and we cannot help you, go to ISKCON. So that was the reaction, no help, so it was a little difficult. So yeah, the whole story is there behind. I'm not going to go into it now. So when we are expanding the movement, there is some passion is needed in it. Yeah? It's a sattvic passion, we can say, because we are not going, revolution and guns and this and that and running here and there and screaming and shouting. No, we do it peacefully, intelligently. Yeah? Books, hello, we have some books for you, and then we establish some center and farm and invite for programs. But still, you need some passion in it, yeah? Some drive for expansion. You cannot be just satisfied, okay, we have a nice temple, there are a few devotees around, we keep it nice, it's clean, it's nice, some guests are coming, some donations are coming, okay. No, we want to expand and expand and expand. It will be never enough. Never enough. And therefore it is so nice that devotees, from their own inspiration, they search for services, yeah, that is the best. When devotee joins, for example, the temple, or even he doesn't join the temple and lives in the congregation, he becomes a devotee. He searches, how can I be helpful? And he gets some service, but he is still active. As we yesterday heard about some devotees, that they just actively seek opportunity to serve and to expand their service and to do more service, and they are very inspired to do some other things and like that. So this is very, very important for the movement to grow and to be very lively, very, very alive, very intense. And this is, that vibe has to be there. Often when we hear devotees joining first time the temple, going first time to the temple, and devotees chanting. Anyway, whenever they enter, it's like a busy place. Yeah? It's like the beehive. That everybody's running here, there, and packing books and going up and down and then chanting. It's also like beehive. You hear it from outside. What is going on inside when you have a temple in the city? So people are really curious, what's going on. Or sometimes I think what people think when they are going next to our van, when we are chanting there, and sometimes we park, of course, in the nature, but sometimes, especially in the winter, we park in the middle of the town. So people are going to job, and then in the van, devotees are, and then morning program, yeah. And so anyway, so the mission means there will be so many activities, and we have to plan our service for the life, and usually we need to plan for this life so much service that we cannot do it in many lifetimes. So then we will be for sure busy. There is, Srila Prabhupada has also said, there is no really free time for a devotee. It means just an exchange of service. When you are tired from book distribution, then you go to read or to be in the temple, go to the altar, go to the kitchen, or make some little relax, like that, of course. But it's always there will be Krishna. There will be no holidays from Krishna, and actually no holidays from the mission, because when we are relaxing, maybe have a little walk, in the nature with our friend brahmacharis, and chanting japa and having some little fresh air. Still, we do it for the sake that we will be again prepared for the mission, and we already look for. This is just after the marathon, and maybe tomorrow devotees will be already in the street again distributing books, because the mission continues. Nobody cares anymore. If you won the marathon or not. It's last year, so new year started, so it's zero. Now we have all zero. Yeah, of course there is eternal account probably there, which Krishna always sees, But for us, every day we go in the street, we start with zero. And again, we have to surrender. Yeah? It's not that, oh, for that many years I've already distributed that many thousands of books. When we go out in the street, again, we have a zero. Again, there is our mind waiting to give us some troubles, unless you are already on the, Ruchi Asakti platform and your mind is completely in harmony with your mission. And yeah, and this I was a little mentioned yesterday, but I wanted to mention that when we hear all these, I was also hearing these great stories before I was able to go in the street as a full-time book distributor. And it seemed like, oh, this book distribution is just one great adventure and fun, which it is, but it's not always so obvious. Because to come to those miraculous events, you have to go through some kind of austerity. You have to wait for it, actively wait. I mean, you're not waiting like that, but you have to wait for it, and you have to continue the normal stereotype, we can say, although Sankirtan is never stereotype, but still, just no, 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 okay, maybe, no, like that. And then maybe one person takes a book, and then again and again. And then maybe after some days or weeks, something miraculous happens, more miraculous, that you can share with others, what happened, this and that, and then you have these amazing stories. But to have them, as part of our life, we have to be ready to go through difficulties and difficult days. And our mind is, I suspect that there are many devotees for whom to be out in the street is very difficult. And this is the reason why not so many devotees do it full time. And why also those who do it full-time find it sometimes challenging, and they need to prepare for it and chant properly and read properly to be in good consciousness. Then, of course, then it's much easier, and it's all like you are remembering Krishna and seeing the things philosophically, and you are convinced about the mission. But still, usually we have some capacity to tolerate the, no's and all these things. And you are happy, one no, okay, no problem. Second no, okay, nice. And when the 20th no comes in a row, then you are becoming a little, you feel some tension here. False ego is a little hurt, and then your mind is telling maybe you should go home. And this we have to learn to overcome. And also try to find some, it's actually very beneficial for us to be there even in these circumstances. And what is usually my thought, which I have learned from the senior Sankirtan devotees, is that anyway I need to be purified. Yeah. So I remember once I was standing in the street, and it was in Prague, busy place, and it was Saturday, and I was there voluntary. It was we were not. We are not. It was not compulsory for us to distribute on Saturday, but I was there. We wanted to do a few more hours in Saturday, and I was there, and I was thinking, everybody is just telling no, and I refusing, and I should rather go to the temple, have some reading. And then I was thinking, okay, anyway, I want to be purified. So if this is difficult for me, better to deal with this now, and don't postpone. Anyway, it will come, If I need to be purified, I have to be purified. So let me be here, and whatever Krishna desires, then let it happen. And also this is one thing, that we need our own purification. And also the second thing is that if we just leave, then maybe next person can be a person who will take a book and who is really needing that book. And we have to go through all these persons who are refuting us to reach that person who is supposed to get the book. And Sankirtan devotee is not going for the ecstasy to the street. He goes to help the people. And I maybe mentioned it before. I sometimes mention this short story. But I was in apartment buildings, and it was extremely difficult. I mean, I was having tears, coming from my eyes. It was, I don't know, maybe 18 years ago or 17 years ago. And and I was doing these flats, ringing, and everybody was very heavy and no books at all, just complete suffering. And I was always sitting on the stairs there and just, tears coming out of my eyes. And I was telling, what can I do, Krishna? What I'm doing wrong? Of course, I know what I'm doing wrong. And that makes makes my feeling even worse, And of course I know what I cannot even say what I'm doing wrong. Why me, Krishna? Why are you not using me? I'm trying so nicely. Actually, no, I'm not trying so nicely. I'm such a bad person. I'm completely useless. You cannot use me as your instrument. And it was so difficult. And then at the end, one door opened and there was one old grandmother, and she actually was interested. And I already knew a little bit, because when you are burning in the street, as we say, then when after some time person comes and have some interest, then you become attached during the dialogue, and then sometimes that person also refuses, and it hurts even more. And so I was not believing she will take, but she took a book and she was telling, actually I'm waiting for this. This knowledge, this looks so nice, I'm waiting for this, I really want this. So at that time I felt, okay, this was worth of it. But it continued, so again I continued, I had still some 20 minutes or 30 minutes to do. And then I continued going down, other floors. And then I heard, again, refusals. And I heard some steps, somebody's going. I was thinking, no, this will be that lady and she will give the book back. Oh, no. And then, I heard it closer and the person came, from behind the corner, and it was her and the book in the hand. I was just, okay, I surrender. Okay, I just, give back the money, and whatever happens today, I'm just a loser, And she looked at me and she said, I wanted to thank you so much. I started to read these books. I read just a few paragraphs, and it was so nice. I'm so happy that I met you. I'm waiting for this whole life, So you made my life. And she was so happy. And I was so happy. And so this, and I understood if I would give up just one flat before, she wouldn't get that opportunity and she wouldn't get a book. So we always have to think like this, that when it is difficult in the street, which is for many devotees this is the reality we face every day. And even if books are going, sometimes mind is giving us trouble. Maybe it's enough for the day. Yeah, both things can be interrupting and being dangerous for our book distribution. Yeah, for example, you distribute and then you give full set of Bhagavatam, and then your mind is like trying to enjoy it. Yeah, oh, that Bhagavatam, nice. This is this many points, so I have this much. So this is amazing. I will tell it to the devotees, and then 1 hour no book. Yeah, because you are just, thinking how nice it was, but the next person, it's nothing to do with that person that you distributed the whole set. That person also needs a mercy. So even if we distribute a lot of books, it can be an obstacle for us to distribute more books in the same intensity, and sometimes not. And in this example, I just few minutes left, so I went into another part of that apartment building, and I rang. There were 3 doors on the floor in that level, and I rang the one, 3 books. Second, 2 books. Third door, 7 books or something like that. And I went home, and normal quota was achieved, but nobody believed me what I went through. This is another thing. When you come home, when you are there in the street and you are having your fight, and during the marathon, all of you who were distributing books, first day, and you were thinking, 29 days more or whatever, still ahead, and then after 2 weeks, 2 weeks more, and then you are in the street and it's 12, okay, 5 hours more, and now it's not going, maybe it will not go anymore. Sometimes the mind comes with these thoughts, maybe it's I'm just, no, Krishna is not using me. When you 1 hour don't distribute any book, then you just think, oh, nobody can take, it looks like, you cannot go to reach any person. And then you want to share, your struggle with others, but then they will ask you how many books, and finally you have some normal amount, so they cannot relate, to what you have gone through there in the street. But Krishna is there, and he sees all your tapasya and surrender, all of your tapasya, he sees like this at once, as it is now. So therefore we have Krishna who can really reciprocate with all the jivas. Sometimes when I struggle, I want to share with other devotees, but it's really not, to be a little, okay, you are so, yeah. So we need some kind words, or something. But we do it for Krishna and for those people, and of course for a spiritual master who is there also in our heart and with us. And and this all combined makes the mission, and makes our surrender. It's all combined, and finally this is what we need to do and go through to please Srila Prabhupada, who wanted us to spread the mission, spread the movement, and wanted us to be dynamic and do something great. To American devotees, he was telling, do something American, because America is a great country and Americans are great people, and do something American. So they were doing American things, really big things, spiritually American, transcendentally. So going to different countries, preaching here and there, and also, one thought in my mind is, life is so short to do something substantial, and we can't, probably most of us, we can't compare to many of great disciples of Srila Prabhupada, what they did, especially in his presence or even after. So much service, such a intense expansion and so many things happening. We can do as Janananda Maharaj said once when I was speaking with him, we can do our small part. We are no big devotees, we are no exceptional devotees. Of course he is, but he was speaking like this. And we just do our little part, but this is our maximum. But we should do our maximum. The life is really short to do something substantial, something really substantial that you do for the mission. And days, weeks, months, years are flying like anything, and we are getting old. And when we become old, it's difficult to do something in this, physical sense. Then we can inspire others, but it is nice to have something behind us that we can, on which basis we can actually, guide others. So if we did something substantial in our lives, if we distributed many books, or we were doing Sankirtan, or opening centers, or educating devotees, or doing some whatever other mission is there, service is there, then we can, on that basis, we can preach to others and help others, and have this experience. With this experience, they can accept our guidance. If we never did anything, then go out for the book distribution. It's very nice, but you never did it, so it will not work probably. Of course, Krishna can use anyone, as he used the prostitutes to inspire Bilba Mangal Thakur to surrender. So anybody can be used to inspire us, but generally, for us, it's good to have some background of surrender, and then we can, when we are old, help others to do their part. Okay, I am not going to make it so much long. So if there are any, whatever, Mic for Parivida Prabhu.
For your lovely class. very nice to hear. I was wondering when this old lady came back, and afterwards you cried again, but then from happiness. So here's a message of Srila Prabhupada to the about the Sankirtan devotees. Let me see. Let me see if it plays.
Don't be disappointed that the whole day you work, you got no collection and nobody was interested in Krishna consciousness. No, don't be disappointed. You have worked sincerely the whole day, that is your credit. That's your credit. Krishna will see.
So
this is amazing.
It's just your endeavor in any service you do. The result, Krishna don't mind. It's just he wants to see, your surrender and your service. And even if you don't sell any books, he will be pleased. Jai.
Jai, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
This is amazing. Thank you.
Then I wanted to say something to the devotees, just as an older devotee. Srila Prabhupada said that the morning program, is important to follow. And especially in a festival, to go to Mangalarti. Mangal means auspicious. And the Lord is being awakened up earlier than we are awake. And when the curtains open, he wants to see his devotees. And so I myself, when I'm at home, I get up much later. But in all my years, I think I've only missed a few times Mangalarti. But I sleep a lot in the daytime to make up for it. But I feel obliged, if I'm in a temple, to attend Mangalarti. And when the deities, they had a new dress, and they come and they want to show the dress. And where are they? So they are disappointed. So, we do everything for them, for the deities. And so the temple is his temple. So if you want to, say for instance, if you would like to live in a palace with Krishna or whatever, then you should use this life as an audition. Like, so if you see any dirt or if you see anything has to be done, then clean it up. And so in this way, he says, oh, he's very nice. And he's qualified to serve me in the spiritual world like that. That's just, I wanted to share it with you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else has a question?
So thank you for the lecture. It's always really inspiring to hear from so advanced Sankirtan devotees. My question is because when you mentioned that if you give up too early, maybe you take away the opportunity for somebody to receive a book. And but isn't it actually the fate of the person to get the book or not? And because sometimes also it's said that people are receiving books just due to the causeless mercy of the devotee. That's why I sometimes feel guilty if I don't approach a person and I see them passing away and maybe I should have talked to them, I don't know. So is it their fate or is it the mercy of the Sankirtan devotee? Maybe you can talk a bit on this.
I can try to talk a little bit, but it's kind of, inconceivable. Achintya bheda bheda tattva. It's a fate of that person, but if you don't come to that person, maybe that person will get mercy from some other devotee. But we should not think like that. These people will anyway get the mercy. So we all devotees are sitting here and not doing anything. So this is not working like this. So although we understand that every book has a name, of the person who will get it, and it's already destined probably that we meet it, still our sincere and our own will to do that service is needed to that. So of course someone else can take the credit, of course, for it. But maybe then somebody else can give more philosophical answer. But this is the basic thing. Practical thing is that we cannot think like this. Oh, anyway. But anyway, that person is supposed to get the mercy, so somebody else will give him. For example, when we were doing door to door with my friend Gadadhar, So he was my senior, and when he was throwing me out, somewhere in the middle of nowhere to do villages, he said, and that house, there is a house, he saw in the map, like 1 kilometer there, you go there also, because these people otherwise will go to hell. So you have to go there and give it. So, although it is destined like that, still we have to do the work, and we have to. We are supposed to go there. It's our job, and of course, Krishna can have different plans. And the other thing is that, of course, we cannot think like that in absolute terms. That if I will leave the street, the other person maybe will not get the mercy, because then we will never leave the street. But we need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to chant, we need to do whatever is needed. So we have our sadhana, we have our duties given to us by our seniors, or we can arrange, when we are not living in the temple, some time for book distribution. And when in that time mind is, giving us trouble, go home, then we can preach to the mind in this sense. But these people, they need the help, and I am here for that. So let me finish my work here first. But of course, if you will think like that, then you will never come out of the street, and then you will just die there. And so we have to do also other things.
Thank you.
So you talked about balance in the very beginning. So in the 6:17 in the Bhagavad Gita, speaks about the balance, moderation, and Prabhupada in the purport said that perfect example for balancing sleep is Rupa Goswami, who slept only 2 hours.
That's
and this is what this is our perfect example of how to be balanced. So the question is, how do devotees, leaders, they're leaders, they're leading, but what about non-leader devotees? How do they know to break through this not mediocrity, but this they can actually do much more service? How can they do this? How can they come to the platform of Rupa Goswami without without being disrespectful to the authorities and everything?
Without being disrespectful, when they try.
I'm not a leader, and then you are a leader, and I feel like I want to do something more, something extra. But then you said, well, this is what needs to be done.
Of course. Okay, so I have the service of some kind of a leader, and some devotees have to follow what I say. And I, of course, very much love if those devotees have their own inspiration to do something more, which should be, of course, it shouldn't be
whimsical.
Whimsical. Like they have some service, and instead of that service, they do something they want to do better for Krishna. This is, of course, not that. But when they do their service, they want to improve. They do it more nicely, or they spend more time than needed. For example, they are some of our devotees. They are supposed to be in the street that many hours, but still they want to be longer. So they are longer, and this is very much appreciated by the, in this case by me, but anyway by the leader. They can sleep a little less, but also I have seen many devotees who slept a little less, but they slept during the day, during all the services, which is all. So sometimes devotees come with this idea, premature idea, I will become Rupa Goswami, and they stop to eat. I mean, they eat very little, they sleep very little, because they take it absolutely, this statement, and without any guidance. And I remember there were devotees eating almost nothing and sleeping almost like very minimal. And then during the day, where there was a class, they were completely finished, japa, struggling, but they were stubborn, and then usually they didn't stay very, very long. So it's good to take guidance from others. Also, like this yesterday, some devotee spoke there about overeating. We should not eat too much. It is a sin in Christianity to overeat, and we as devotees, we overeat. And but what should be there, when we overeat, we should do a lot of service. Yeah, that should be the outcome of our overeating. If we overeat and go to sleep, that is very, very wrong. But when we overeat and then we do some substantial service for Krishna, and this inspires us to do more service, then okay, especially when we are young and still strong body, then we can do like this. And therefore, this can be our quota. We need little more, encouragement through prasadam, and then we work like buffaloes, just strong. And so then it's okay. So yeah, I didn't answer your question actually.
You did.
Tapas Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I appreciate very much this point that one has to be ready to do the needful. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that those are dear to me who are not dependent on the normal course of activities. That means those who are flexible. So, my question is, you see, these Brahmanas, they finally expressed the anger they killed by sound, King Vena. But before that, it's not that he did something wrong and then immediately they kill him. Now, before that, they tried to guide him, correct him, instruct him several times. And in the end, then, okay, enough is enough. So, now, question is how, because anger is a very dangerous energy. But you can lose your brain by anger. You can do things you would never like, you would regret. So, how if you could speak something about how we as devotees in our movement apply our anger or upsetness with things not going exactly the way it should, and how we should, not, avoid the danger of anger and apply the danger in a constructive way.
Yeah. Probably I should have asked this question also. It's difficult to answer to very senior devotees. Yeah, the first thing is we shouldn't fear. Anger can be sign of a good consciousness and good approach to the things. Because when something is going wrong, for example, in our movement, which is not supposed to go, we should, of course, feel some, something on our heart, some dissatisfaction. Srila Prabhupada said we should, for example, for Mangala Arati, sing a specific tune, for example, simple thing. So when this is not followed, we should feel something, something should be there. Of course, depends on our position also, if we can change it or not, or we can. But when there are more serious things happening, which are not supposed to be done in Vaishnava society, in ISKCON, we should feel something. So even if we feel anger in this situation and we can't just stay in that place or be with those people or just follow the same thing they do, it's not necessarily our problem, or it's not wrong. It's maybe sign of our sincerity, actually. But of course, it's a thin ice, because then your ego comes, and then you see this mistake, that mistake, that mistake, and you show on all of the mistakes, and everything is wrong, and then nobody wants to be with you, because everything is wrong, because you can find mistakes practically on everything and on everyone. So this is another thing. So it's very tricky thing, actually. So we are dealing with devotees. These people are still devotees, and they do not follow maybe something, and it's I think it's a difficult question. So when we speak about simple things, like the floor is not clean and the devotee is cleaning every day wrongly, and I'm not the authority, but I see it. So I can, there are procedures which are quite simple. You go to your authority, or maybe if you are a friend with the devotee, you can tell him, or if you are if you are senior to him, although you are not a manager authority, you could probably tell him nicely, and if he is normal, he will accept, okay, I'm not doing nice, okay, I will do it better. So there is no need of anger. Anger comes when you tell it once, twice, third time, fourth time, and still it is the same. And managers, they have that problem, When I was a bhakta, I was cleaning a bathroom. And then temple commander came and he found some not properly done place, which was actually not my fault. It was actually made after I cleaned it. Somebody messed it up. But I accepted the scolding. And from that time, I really just, all the time I clean the bathroom, it must be top class, because I don't want to be scolded anymore, and I just want to be happy with devotees. I was very new. And in the very beginning, just a few months after I joined temple, I got the service of temple commander. And I was thinking, okay, this will be like this. So you tell once to a devotee and he will just do it. And I realized, it's not like that. And it took me some time to digest this. And so that's difficult for managers to not become angry on devotees, because they are devotees, they want to do, but sometimes they're in tamagun, or they just maybe, some kind of their nature, they don't see it and like that. So then we have to control ourselves. And regarding the more, how to say, touchy topics in ISKCON, maybe some controversial things which are, places of tension. So it's difficult to answer, how to deal with this, not become angry, and to use the anger. I think for the whole life, we actually learn this, how to properly deal in different situations. Then we do some mistakes. So what I will not be able to answer fully this. Maybe you can then add whatever points are in your mind. But when we get angry at someone and we feel we didn't really control it properly and it was not good anger, then at least later we should come and apologize, or, something to do with this. Even we are not able to control it in that specific moment. But that doesn't mean that all anger we have to apologize for. Some is needed. And some is even controlled. We are not angry, but we show anger because we see that otherwise the devotee is not getting the point. Or something, anyway.
Just a comment that you asked me. In my experience, first of all, the punishment is meant for uplifting. Otherwise, it's said in Manu Samhita that punishment is the son of Krishna who helps him to manage the universe. And if it's done rightly, it's elevating. If it's done wrongly, it's destructive. And I've seen that, like you said, you can see so many faults everywhere. There's a certain standard, and this is not. In my experience, it's like if you actually want to make some correct a mistake, like things in the movement, it's not cheap. You have to work for it. It's austere. Then maybe after I had that experience, it took a lot of work. And in the end, there was a change. But I realized it's not just to sit on the fence and point out fault, and it should be like this. That's the modern, crazy social media culture. Everybody makes a comment, it should be like this, it should be like that. But the actual big changes to improve, that takes austerity and hard work. And that is the whole Sankirtan mission. It's going to make a revolution. But it's going to take time and perseverance. And so, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing point. Yeah. Manu Prabhu?
Which version of the Mahabharata you recommend to read?
I don't know that. I'm not the proper person to ask. We have only one version in Czech. It's Krishna Dharma's version, which is in Czech. I know there is one version which has Calcutta translate, some Calcutta scholar, 10,000 pages, or something like that. But I never read it. I don't know. Maybe someone else knows. I don't know which Mahabharata is. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I had a short question because you mentioned that you founded, you started a temple in Brno and then also a farm, and we need to expand. So just if you could say what was your main motivation, and also because we need to expand, and sometimes I see that devotees maybe reach a moment where maybe they should go somewhere and take more responsibility. So maybe you could say a few words. What inspired you to take that step? And
Step one or step two or both? Step center or step farm, or which step you, or both of them?
Yeah, to found something new, to start something new, because we are an expanding movement, but maybe the main expansion was some years ago, and not too many new centers are happening now. But if we want to keep expanding, we should encourage people and inspire people, have leaders who are able and inspired to make new centers.
Actually, it was the initial idea was not from my own head. I was happy with my service. I was happy with the management in the temple. I was doing my service, but some few senior devotees suggested to me that maybe I can start a center because they saw some potential, and so yeah, I did. I didn't plan to go to Brno at all, but National Council told me, oh, there is a small center there which is now not having any leader, so maybe you can go there. Because in Brno at that time there were Ritviks and Gaudiya and this and that, and I didn't like it for book distribution, but I surrendered to the desire of our National Council, so I went there. So this was the first part. I was just inspired by a few senior devotees who suggested that to me, that you go and you try something. And then, of course, when I started, all the passion in my personality came up, and we have to do this, and as Srila Prabhupada said, and book distribution has to be the basis, and it was going on very nicely. And from the beginning in my mind was that Srila Prabhupada also had a desire that every temple is connected with a farm. So there is some cooperation, city preaching and farm. And I didn't have so clear idea, but I had some rough idea that this was Srila Prabhupada's desire. So actually from the very beginning we started the center. We were sometimes looking if maybe some land is available, something, somewhere, but we didn't have any money, we just had money just to eat and to pay the rent. But still we were looking a little bit. And after 5 years, the opportunity came and we have been able to purchase this farm, which was a desolated place practically. But that gave another life to our group, and actually it was very much needed because there were, in the beginning, just brahmacharis were there, as it is, you have this, when you start a center, brahmacharis, then they start to marry, then you lose them, then you have some grihastas, and congregation grows, and new brahmacharis come, but then you have the congregation. So it was the time actually very good for grihastas. They needed to live somewhere, and city temples are not always the best place where to raise your children and have a community of devotees. The countryside is much better, and this was actually Srila Prabhupada's concept, that grihastas, as much as possible, they move to the countryside and live from the land and live simple lives together, And there can be many different ways how to achieve it or how to start it, and different models. So we are doing it in one way. You have another opportunities probably. But yeah, that's there. So there is always more to do. If you have more people who can do more, there's always more service we can do. And there are so many other things which we are still not doing and which I would love to do, like public programs. We are not doing practically, just Sunday feasts, programs in the temple, but the public programs, when you come to the place, do some propagation, invite people, into some hall somewhere, like that. It's not much done in Czech now. Past it was, but no devotee now is really willing or to do it. So there is so big field still open, university preaching, this and that, so many things. So yeah, that expansion mood we just inherit from Srila Prabhupada, and especially those who are leaders from some reason, because they probably have it in their heart. They want to do something for Prabhupada, and they want to expand. So when they see the opportunity, they just go for it. But not that we have to expand and you have 4 brahmacharis and you send 2 to open new center, and you lose your own man, and you end up in trouble. So when you see the opportunity, then there is always a stock of things to do, how to expand, another farm, another preaching center, programs, this, that, Gurukula, taking care of children, this. So many things are there in stock. So whenever we see opportunity, we go for it. And some things we have to little push because they are really needed. So then we have to little push it. I don't know. Okay, so I will stop here. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for allowing me to speak here, although I am very young in comparison to other great devotees here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.